Here's what Teshuvah really means. There are two kinds of regret. You can regret something that could have been and it didn't happen. There's a stock you could have invested in. You could have bought that stock. Now you would be a millionaire if you had bought that stock. But they talked you out of it. So you regret. You regret what you could have done and didn't do, because had you done it, you would now be whatever, healthy, rich. That's one kind of regret. A second kind of a regret is when you regret what you should have done, not could have done. I should have been more respectful to my parents. I should have been more patient with my children. I should have been nicer to that guy I hated. Should have. The difference between the two regrets is, number one, the regret for what could have been is not valid, not justified, because you don't know what would have been. There's a building you could have bought for $9, and if you had, you would now be rich. Knowing your lack of muzzle, you would be out $9. Who says you'd be rich? You would blow the $9. So it's just a guess, speculation. Had I bought that building for $9, maybe I would be rich now. Probably not. If I had bought that stock, today I would be sitting, maybe not. Probably not. So the regret is not even justified. Secondly, what value, what benefit do you get from regretting? If you regret not buying that building, does it make it yours a little bit? Do you acquire the building if you really regret not buying it? I should have bought it. I really should have. I really regret not buying it. So it's yours now a little bit? No. It doesn't change anything. When you regret what should have been, it's the opposite. You should have been more respectful to your parents. There's no doubt about that. Yes, you should have been. What should have been is a definite, not a maybe. It's not speculation. Secondly, if you regret not being more respectful to your parents, you have just become more respectful. So it's not a wishful if only. You actually become more respectful if you regret not being more respectful. So we know with Rosh Hashanah coming and Yom Kippur, we've got to remember this. Regretting what should have been is not just a bad feeling, it's real growth. It's real change. The mitzvahs I could have done, I should have done. And had I done them, it would have been good, and it would have been right, and it would have been to my credit forever, eternally. No doubt about it. And the fact that I regret it now makes me a little more conscious of God, a little more conscious of my Jewishness, makes me a little closer to my Jewish soul. I've actually moved upwards. So the regret is not wishful thinking about the past, it's an actual improvement in the present. One other thing about regret. We don't regret what we did or didn't do. We regret who was hurt. It's not what we did that is so bad, it's who we did it to. Real regret always involves someone, not just something. I ate a non-kosher sandwich 30 years ago, I regret it. It's not that believable, because it did taste good. I don't know if you know about it, but non-kosher food is pretty tasty, I've heard. So the regret really is, who did you do it to? The who, obviously, is God. When you don't do a mitzvah, or you violate a commandment, who are you violating? Him. So if you stop and think, God was so good to me, God has given me so much, and I have done very little for Him, that's regret. So I'm going to give you a quick example. Bernie Madoff. You remember him? What is he famous for? He stole $50 billion. So he's in jail, he's suffering. He passed away. But imagine if sitting in jail he would say to you, you know, I stole $50 billion and I really regret it. I would never do that again. Yeah, everybody would laugh. You wouldn't do it again? Are you kidding? Sure, you wouldn't get caught again. But if you had an opportunity to steal $50 billion, you wouldn't? What did they do to you? Of course you would. No, it's wrong. Yeah, well, you knew that the first time also. That didn't stop you. So it's not very believable that what you couldn't resist doing yesterday, today you regret and would never do it again. I don't know. Doesn't sound right. But imagine if he says, I got a letter from a woman who was a survivor, worked very hard, put together a few dollars, invested it with me, and I stole it. And now she has nothing. I would never do that to her again. Believable. Because when he stole the money, he was thinking only about the money. He never gave a thought to whose money it was. Once he thinks of whose money, well, that can change everything. Her money he wouldn't steal. That makes sense. So the regret and the teshuvah is always, who? Who did you do this to? And why would you? At the time of the sin, you were only thinking about the sin, the non-kosher sandwich. But now that you're thinking, but really that is really annoying to God, it's disturbing to God, why would I do that to Him? That's teshuvah. Sometimes the teshuvah is a neighbor, a friend, a stranger, someone who got hurt as a result of your sin. And sometimes the victim is your own neshama, your own godly soul. So really, conscience or teshuvah means there's a part of you, your godly soul, that never agreed to that sin. And even while you were doing it, the godly soul was saying, no, I don't want to. But the passion of the moment overcomes the voice of the godly soul, and you do it. Afterwards, when you think about it, your godly soul says, I asked you not to do this. I never wanted to do this. In fact, I didn't even do it. You just dragged me with you. Don't do this to me. That's teshuvah. Why would I do that to my own godly soul? So that is the nature of teshuvah, but the personality of a Baal teshuvah is even more interesting. The tzaddik mentality I've heard, is that today was great, I got to make tomorrow better. Last year was good, this year's got to be better. I'm making progress, I've got to continue. Never enough. That's the mentality of a tzaddik. The mentality of a Baal Teshuvah is, I haven't even begun yet. Yesterday, what's yesterday? I haven't even begun. Not one time when you decide to become more observant. Every day, the mentality of a Baal Teshuvah, the nature of a Baal Teshuvah is, I've not yet begun to fight. Today, I'm going to start. And that's true of everything. It's like, how was your marriage? Good. Hey, nobody's perfect, but it's good. And yes, I would like to make it better. That's tzaddik talk. Baal Teshuvah talk is, how is my marriage? I'm thinking that I really got to get married. I got to make this into a real marriage. I haven't even started yet. Now, when you're starting something, the energy, the enthusiasm, the optimism is incredible. That's what gives the Baal Teshuvah that additional drive, because I'm just starting. Every day you wake up, you say, today I'm going to be a good husband. Today I'm going to be a real wife. Today I'm going to be a Jew. Yesterday, don't live in the past. Live in the present. What are you going to do today? We might say that the Rebbe was essentially a Baal Teshuvah. Because no matter what he accomplished, every day was, now we're going to start. Now we're going to turn the world over and fix the world. What have you done until now? Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Every day is a new beginning.